Let me ask you something. You've got $50,000 sitting in your bank account right now. Your uncle says, buy a rental property, it's the safest investment. Your coworker says, just put it in the S&P 500, bro. And your financial advisor is charging you $300 an hour to tell you basically nothing useful. So who's right? Today, we're not doing opinions. We're not doing vibes. We're doing the actual math. Returns, taxes, leverage, hidden costs, liquidity, risk, everything. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly which investment wins, and more importantly, which one wins for you. Let's get into it. First, let's define what we're comparing. Real estate. We're talking about buying a residential rental property, a single-family home or a small apartment with a mortgage. This is how most people invest in real estate. Not REITs, not flipping, a buy and hold rental property. Stocks. We're talking about a broad index fund, specifically the S&P 500. No stock picking, no options trading, just the boring, consistent buy and forget approach. Now here's the first thing most comparisons get wrong. They compare the cash return of real estate to the total return of stocks. That's not a fair fight. So we're going to do this properly. We'll use a $50,000 starting investment, a 10-year time horizon, and we'll use realistic numbers, not the fantasy numbers you see on YouTube thumbnails. Let's start with stocks because it's simpler. You invest $50,000 into an S&P 500 index fund. The historical average annual return of the S&P 500, including dividends, adjusted for inflation, is roughly 7% per year in real terms. Nominal returns are closer to 10–11%, but let's use 10% to keep the math clean. At 10% annually, compounded, your $50,000 becomes, after 5 years, around $80,500. After 10 years, around $129,700. After 20 years, around $336,000. That's without adding a single dollar more, just parking it and walking away. Now, what are the costs? Almost nothing. A Vanguard or Fidelity index fund has an expense ratio of around 0.03% to 0.10% per year. That's $15 to $50 a year on a $50,000 investment. Basically negligible. Tax situation? In a taxable brokerage account, you pay capital gains tax when you sell. If you hold over a year, that's long-term capital gains, 0%, 15%, or 20% depending on your income. In a Roth IRA or 401k, you pay zero tax on growth. So stocks are simple, cheap, and historically very effective. But here's the catch. You're only investing $50,000. You don't get to control more than $50,000 worth of assets. With real estate, that changes completely. Here's the most powerful thing about real estate: leverage. With your $50,000, you don't buy a $50,000 property. You use it as a 20% down payment on a $250,000 property. A bank hands you the other $200,000. Suddenly, you're controlling $250,000 worth of an asset with just $50,000 of your own money. Let's run the numbers. Assume the property appreciates at 4% per year, roughly the historical average for U.S. residential real estate. After 10 years, that $250,000 property is worth about $370,000. That's a gain of $120,000 on your $50,000 investment. That's a 240% return on your cash, even though the property only went up 4% per year. Meanwhile, your stock investment returned 159% in the same period. Real estate wins on paper, right? Not so fast. This is where the fantasy meets reality. Real estate has costs, lots of them. Mortgage interest. On a $200,000 loan at 7% interest over 30 years, you're paying about $14,000 per year in interest in the early years. That's money out of your pocket or out of your rental income. Property taxes, typically 1 to 2% of property value per year. On a $250,000 home, that's $2,500 to $5,000 per year. Insurance, another $1,000 to $2,000 per year. Maintenance and repairs, the rule of thumb is 1% of property value per year, so $2,500 per year, but real life hits harder. A new roof is $10,000 to $20,000. An HVAC unit is $5,000 to $10,000. A burst pipe at 2 a.m. on Christmas Eve is always your problem, not the tenant's. And vacancy. Your property won't always be rented. Assume 1 month of vacancy per year. That's roughly 8% of your annual rental income gone. Property management. If you hire a manager, and many landlords do because being a landlord is a second job, that's 8 to 12% of monthly rent. So let's say your property rents for $1,800 per month, that's $21,600 per year in gross rent. After mortgage interest, taxes, insurance, maintenance, vacancy, and management, your net cash flow might be 0 to slightly negative in the early years. You're not getting rich from the cash flow. You're betting on appreciation, and you're paying a lot to hold that bet. Okay, let's now do the true comparison. $50,000 in stocks at 10% per year for 10 years equals about $129,700. Net of a 15% capital gains tax on the $79,700 gain equals about $117,700 in your pocket. $50,000 in real estate as a down payment on a $250,000 property, property value after 10 years, about $370,000. Remaining mortgage balance after 10 years, about $175,000. Your equity, about $195,000. But subtract 6% in agent commissions when you sell, minus $22,200, and capital gains tax, though you get a $250,000 exclusion as a primary residence, but this is a rental, so you pay tax on the full gain, roughly 15% on the gain, minus $18,000. Net proceeds? Roughly $154,000. And remember, during those 10 years, you likely had near zero or negative cash flow, stress, tenant problems, and zero liquidity. You couldn't touch that money in a crisis. So, the final score? Real estate, about $154,000. Stocks, about $117,700. Real estate wins, but by less than you'd think and at a much higher cost of time, stress, and liquidity. Real estate wins when you use leverage effectively in a rising market. You buy in an undervalued area with strong rental demand. You're good at managing properties or finding deals. You want tax advantages like depreciation deductions. You want a physical, tangible asset you can control. Stocks win when you value simplicity, liquidity, and low maintenance. You're investing in a tax-advantaged account like a Roth IRA. You don't have the time or skill to manage property. You want to start with less capital. You can invest $100, not $50,000. You want to diversify globally and across thousands of companies. The honest truth? Neither is universally better. The best investment is the one you understand, can execute consistently, and can hold through downturns without panicking. Here's what I want you to take away from this. Real estate looks incredible on the surface because of leverage. Stocks look simple, but the compounding is brutally powerful over time. The real mistake isn't picking the wrong one. It's picking neither, leaving your money in a savings account earning 0.5% while inflation eats it alive. If you have $50,000 and the discipline to invest it, you're already ahead of 80% of people. Now, if you want to go deeper, I've got videos on how to analyze a rental property deal, how to build a dividend portfolio, and the exact tax strategies wealthy people use to legally pay almost nothing. Links are in the description. Hit subscribe if you want the real math, not the hype. I'll see you in the next one.